Dr. Wallace Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. I'm also the president of United in Peace, Inc. This program is being presented by United in Peace, Inc. The producer and the chairman, the producer who happens to be the chairman of United in Peace, Inc., is none other than Dr. Terry Marsh Bradley, and that's my wife. There's a lot of issues we want to deal with. We ain't going to be able to hit all of them. This past weekend, not just being Father's Day, but it was also the Push Convention. And there was a protest that was on target, against Target. And hopefully during this show, there's a lot of things happening. There's the war between Iran and Israel. There's Target on the people that they say is illegally here in this country, especially in Chicago. There's a lot of people, including the president, that's upset that his parade kind of fizzled when they had 75,000 people marching, peaceful marching here in Chicago. But the one thing that I'm seeing in everything that's happening is the hope that's in the young adults' eyes when it comes to freeing Larry Hoover. And the reason I got this shirt on today is because I know the heart and soul of Governor J.B. Pritzker. And I'll be able to show you why I supported J.B. Pritzker, or felt like he should be the man that run for governor in 2017 when he got elected in 2018. And because, as God would have it, Governor J.B. Pritzker can answer the prayers of many people to God to free Larry Hoover and put some good hope back into the life of individuals where they feel that there is no hope. So without further ado, Sister Monty, let's get on target.
A peaceful rally with several faith leaders in attendance, including Reverend Jesse Jackson. And as they raised their fists in solidarity, their message was clear. Without Target's support of DEI, their wallets remain closed.
We actually thought that we were living in a post-racial America.
Father, we come today in front of Target, asking you to put a target on Target.
What once was a company known for their allyship to the black community is now facing backlash.
The CEO of Target made a pledge of $2 billion to the black community.
That's what he said. What he said.
Magically, after the inauguration of Donald John Trump, he reneged on it.
Reverend Jamal Bryant is the pastor at New Birth Baptist Church in Atlanta. He's led protests across the country against Target's decision to end its DEI programs, including its racial equity action and change initiatives. But he says the issue is bigger than Target, highlighting what he says are racial inequities in the Trump administration.
All of America is grieving and it is groaning because we see that Target is not just a store, but it has become a way of life.
In the last quarter, Target reported weaker than expected sales, and the company's CEO said this was due in part to the uncertainty over tariffs and a boycott of the retailer because of a rollback of diversity initiatives. Those in support of the protest say the company is missing a major opportunity.
If the African American and Hispanic wealth gap closes and matches the white households, that's a 4 to 6% increase in GDP. It's worth $16 trillion over the next 20 years. We're worth investing in.
In a statement to ABC7, Target says in the last 5 years, we have committed to invest $2 billion in black-owned businesses and brands, supported students at over 20 historically black colleges and universities, invested $100 million in black-led community organizations. However, protesters say those commitments are in the past. Now, these protesters are making very specific demands of Target. That includes putting a Target store on a historically black college or university's campus, renaming DEI, and investing $250 million in black businesses. Now, that last demand was something that Target had promised to do by June 30th of this year. And I'm told here those who have actually met with Target's CEO have not heard back on those specific demands. Ravi?
You know, what's so spectacular about this push convention? It was about the family coming together, the push family coming together. And they had 3 generational leaders. What I mean by that? I watched these individuals' grandfather, even though I was young, their father, and now their sons. Yusef Jackson, now taking control of push, leading the charge, or carrying on the charge of the Rainbow Push Coalition. They had a young brother by the name of Thurston, Pastor Thurston. His father, his grandfather and his father were pastors, dealing with the new protest, and young Brian. And the fact that here we are, now fighting the same fight when we thought we had won the rights. And you may say, Gator, what are you talking about? In the 60s, we had to protest against Woolworth store in order to be able to be served in that store. And we won the rights in 64, 65. And here we are today, and it's the same protest against Target. That's why I say hope. People don't have hope. I watched today on the news where individual National Guardsmen had to escort their mother that has been in the States for almost 20 years so that ICE wasn't due to their mother that they witnessed ICE doing to so many other families. And I thank God that they were able to be there to make sure that that didn't happen. Because what do you think would have had ICE grab their mother, slapped her down, and throw her down? And hate brings about hate. When you got an individual that's pushing this, not to better a situation. Let's get to the next one, Sister Armani.
reigniting the fight and defending civil rights. This week, the Rainbow Push Coalition is holding its annual People's Conference, encouraging those to fight growing threats to justice and equality. Our Suzanne Lemonnier spent the afternoon listening to those attending that conference. She is live for us now from our newsroom. Suzanne.
Marie, top of mind for those attending, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the fight for corporations to keep it in place.
Just give a round of applause. I think we've never had what we faced here before.
Chief Operating Officer of Rainbow Push Coalition, Yusuf D. Jackson, addresses those gathered for the first day of the organization's annual conference. The theme of the organization's People's Conference this year, Call to Action. Jackson's father and founder of the organization, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, was also in attendance. Yusuf Jackson told those gathered the gains made during the civil rights movement are now under threat.
The very executive order that authorized the Civil Rights Act, Donald Trump wrote an executive order to overthrow, or to undermine, or to rescind.
The title of the opening luncheon at the conference is Rebuilding America Through Coalition.
We gather together across race, religion, across ethnicities, across party lines even. There are Democrats here and there are Republicans here. We're across all kinds of economic lines, all together based on common ground, because we want a better society for our future.
The Reverend Ira Ackrey from Greater St. John Bible Church in Chicago's Austin neighborhood was among those attending.
In our community, faith leaders are influencers, and these faith leaders can inspire their congregants and people in the community to participate in protest. In this particular climate, if we don't stand together, all of the accomplishments and all of the civil rights that we acquired back in the 60s will be rolled back.
Everywhere I go.
Also on the agenda for the first day of the Push Conference, a protest outside Target at 1 South State, led by the Reverend Jamal Bryant. The Atlanta-based pastor spearheaded a national boycott against the retailer after it decided to do away with its diversity, equity, and inclusion policy.
This has been the most effective boycott for black people in 70 years since the Montgomery bus boycott. When we started, Target's share was $145 a share. It's now down to $93 a share.
And Brian says after meeting with Target, he hopes there's a resolution soon. Target told us in a statement they're dedicated to fostering inclusivity for everyone, their team members, guests, and supply partners. Meantime, the Rainbow Push Coalition People's Conference Call to Action takes place through Saturday, June 14th. In the newsroom, Suzanne Lemonnier, CBS News, Chicago.
You know, the wonderful thing about what God has blessed me to witness and to see the hope and the transformation. There was about 4 million people on the 14th of June. They was protesting the No King march around the country. And they say it may have been maybe 20, maybe 40,000 at the parade. And then we wake up and we see where Israel attacked Iran and Iran attacking Israel. And all I can do is say, hey, we got to pray, because prayer help. The president's saying he want to send ICE into Chicago full force and come in and attack, like Chicago is the enemy, like the people in California is the enemy. But the people are saying that they fed up. The reason I'm wearing this shirt is to let you know how long I've known J.B. Pritzker. This man spent $100 million of his own money before he made a decision to run for governor in order to help those that were wrongfully convicted and those that were unjustly sentenced. Sister Money, hit that piece. Commute Larry Hoover's sentence in order for Larry Hoover to be free. You know, so because the law states Larry Hoover had a state sentence and he had a federal sentence. So now that Trump commuted his sentence on the federal level to time considered served, he has to come back and be up under the jurisdiction of the governor of Illinois. And all I can do is say, I thank God that J.B. Pritzker is the governor. 8 years ago, I felt that he was the right man to run for governor because he believed in helping those individuals that was wrongfully convicted. We talking about individuals that was tortured by police officers. What you're seeing in the news, how people are coming back suing the city because they was tortured by bad police officers. They used cattle prods on them to their private, to their derriere and everything else, put shotguns, Leslie, in their mouths to try to make them, not try to, they made them commit the crimes that they knew they didn't do. And like the guy, Gerald Reed, the governor, J.B. Pritzker, pardoned this man because he was one of the John Burge tortured individuals and came back and he won his case after doing 30 years where they had charged him with a double murder. Come to find out, he didn't do the double murder, and the officers just tortured him to confess to a crime that they knew he didn't commit. That's compassion and redemption and humanity. And humanity, not inhumanity, and humanity. So I ask my viewing audience, because I know all things, God's control of everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And just like he touched Trump's heart to convince him to commute Larry Hoover's sentence to time served so that it would be up to the governor of Illinois, which happens to be J.B. Pritzker, to commute Larry Hoover's sentence to time considered served in Chicago so that he could be with his family. And they paint him like he's this great monster. He's a murderer, super murderer. The man went to the penitentiary in Chicago, not for a murder that he committed, because he was associated with an individual that committed the murder. Google his case. He wasn't even there when the man got killed. They gave the impression, the reason the federal government got this man because he's a monster and he did all this. The man had a drug case. They put him in solitary confinement for 23 hours a day for 30 years in a space that's a little bit bigger than a closet. And they did this to him because he was able to convince individuals, a lot of young adults then, to not follow him and what he did, and to stop wanting to kill one another, and to register and vote. That was his crime. But he's this monster. You say, okay, fine it. How is he responsible for the murders in the streets of Chicago, and y'all got him locked up in solitary confinement for almost 32 years? He's been locked up for almost 51, maybe 52 years. How is he responsible? Only because he went from gangster disciple to growth and development. But the powers that be that didn't want young adults to fight for people's rights, for the women to be in control of their bodies, freedom of speech, fighting for fair trials. Lock him up, shut him up, and let them run racket. That's why you have the children today jumping on cars and twerking and destroying people's property. And they're talking about a curfew would change that. How? I believe the governor is going to commute his sentence because I know JB's heart and soul. And I know God. And that's why I praise him, I worship him, because I know he has the power to change the narrative. So, without further ado, this is what I want to ask of you. Join me in praying to God that he would touch JB's heart and soul and allow him to be used as a vessel to answer the many, many prayers to commute Larry Hoover's sentence to time considered served. The man is 74 years old. What are you going to do? Do that and watch the change. Watch what happens. I know it'll work because I've been redeemed. And people say I was his enforcer. I was his enforcer for peace, to bring gangs together for peace. Google it. Wallace Bradley, peace summits, gang peace summits. Wallace Bradley, Larry Hoover's enforcer, going to the Oval Office to speak to Bill Clinton, going to Washington, D.C. to show everybody that there's a solution to stop the violence. Wallace Bradley, with Larry Hoover's help create United in Peace, a good program, a good idea. But here comes someone else, Suskin, steals the idea, create ceasefire, and made it where everybody can be hired but Wallace Bradley. But I didn't get mad.